Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Wasn't even that long of a break, but we have returned with the quarterfinals with our ZVT. Of course, we've been following both these players making their way into the quarterfinals, but only one can make it to the semis. And which will it be? And sporting in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the French Terran player, the blue Terran, representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player from representing Team Falcons from land of South Korea. It is Rogue. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are now open. You can place your bets on who you think will win the series. Best of luck in the chat as you have a couple of moments here to gather your thoughts to believe in either one. And honestly, I can see an argument for either one. I do lean towards Clem. Clem, he's coming in as the favorite player, 100%. But Rogue, he has brought Clem down in the past, and I do think that Rogue can threaten Clem. Personally, I would love an ace match. Regardless of how this goes, I would love to see a game 3. I would love to see this go the distance here, but alas, the pressure is on. And we'll see if Rogue can pull that off. For now, Hatch, Gas, Pool, standard open out of Rogue. Likewise, Clem going for his own ranks expand as well. Nothing crazy. When it comes to early game ZVT, there's not really much deviation here. We have seen Rogue go for early Roach Warrens before, and really that's what we were looking for. We're looking for maybe an early Roach Warren, maybe some early aggression out of Rogue, but right now everything's looking normal. So nothing crazy yet. Not in game 1. Meanwhile, don't forget to stretch. Posture check in the chat. Check your posture. Oh. I was just stretching. As we said, Lynn, Rogue, he does make 6 things back at home, so a little bit of a bigger investment into his early game defense. Maybe just respecting that Clem Reaper that much more. As Rogue, he does poke in. So far, Clem just dancing with the Lings. No major losses. It looks like he might get 1 Ling, but really doesn't. Rogue, he pulls away in time. Rogue pulls away. Clem pulls out. And Rogue gets his 3rd. So far everything's looking normal. No drone kills, no economic losses. 3rd base is on the way. No delay on the 3rd either. So a comfortable start for Rogue. Outside of making 2 extra Lings. And likewise, Clem also getting to... Oh my god! Clem is going to be the aggressor here. Okay, Clem, for the first time this broadcast, we don't have a 3rd TC, we have a 1-1-1. So hyper aggression here by Clem. Basically, Clem, he delays his 3rd command center in favor of a faster starport, in favor of an earlier move out. Now, this can turn into a Hellbat push. We're going for reactored Hellions. We can throw down an armory, we can pump out some medevacs, so we can commit here into Hellbats. Otherwise, we could just go for a Hellion drop into some of the bases. Clem has options, regardless, hyper aggression nonetheless. Ooh, not a medevac, going for a Liberator. Okay, so Hellion Lib out of Clem. This will hit early. The Ling does dip in for a scout, and the Ling does not get eyes on the follow-up tech. So Rogue is still in the dark. And again, Clem is very fond of mixing in these more aggressive builds. Very fond of it. Clemmy rotates over. Oh, threatens the queens. Now he's going for his delayed 3rd CC, but again, the CC is delayed for Clem. So he needs to get damage done. Meanwhile, Rogue going Lair first. Lair first out of Rogue. Still just dancing with those Hellions. No armory, bear that in mind, so it's not going to be Hellbats. Again, there was no medevac, of course. We did confirm the Liberator earlier. So it's Hellion Lib. Liberator into the main. Drones are going to be going down. Getting 1 so far. 1 drone. Hellions are looking for a dive. Rotate over. Oh, doesn't find a way in. Almost Almost finds a way in, rotates once again, Liberator back into the main base, going for the Queen. The Queen is gonna go down, massive pickoff. Takes down the Queen, and the Hellions, they break in. Here they bust on in. Ooh, Lings, they respond in time. Whew. Rogue is holding. Rogue is holding on. Liv repositions, 3 more drone kills. Hellions, they almost catch a Queen, Claw Transfuse. Rogue, again, for the most part, is keeping up with the rotations. He has Lings to defend. Oh, and Clem, he doesn't break off. Doesn't head to the natural. But so far, good damage. Now, we have a bit of a give and take here. On the one hand, 8 drone kills. 8 drone kills, 19 Lings, and 1 Queen. This is good damage for Clem, bearing in mind that Clem only lost 2 Hellions and 1 Lit. And I guess the Reaper. Like, these are minimal losses for Clem. The downside, if you remember, the 3rd CC. This 3rd base is late for Clem, so that's why he had to do damage. As we get into this, Rogue, he does have a comfortable drone count. His 3rd base wasn't really threatened. Neither was his main either. For the most part, he was able to maintain himself for the most part. And Rogue, he's keeping up. It was good damage from Clem, but nothing game-ending. Nothing game-ending from our Terran player. Likewise, establishing his 3rd. We do see Rogue taking his own 4th hatchery as well. Oh, let's go. Let's go. The healing pad. For the first, it's been months. It's unironically, it has been months since we've been casting on this map, and this is the first time that we've seen anyone use the healing pads. Let's go. Let's go, Bobby. Let's go again. For those that are curious, there are healing pads here on the right-hand side, and the Hellions get fully topped up. Clem moves in on both sides, and oh, that's a kill. That's a kill, not a cancel. Massive pickoff. Hatchery goes down. It finally happened. Not sure, we saw it in SDO. That doesn't that doesn't count. Doesn't count. For me at least, I wasn't casting it. Wasn't casting. So I stand by that statement. As Rogue, he is taking bottom right. Once again, we could see another heal. We could I wanna like double check when we first casted Persephone, to see like how long it took. How many days did it take for someone to use the healing pad? Crazy. But Clem does move in. Does move in, setting up his tanks, pushing forward. I'm loving he does knock down those rocks. Yes, only one angle of attack here for Rogue. And Rogue, he just kind of pushed into this. There's just so many tanks. Hellbat to move forward as well. And Clemmy's going for the kill. Just wedging himself in between the bases. Again, Rogue, he lost drones. More importantly, he lost bases in the lead up to this. GG gets called as Clem he overwhelms. And Clem, he will take game number 1. Whew, GG. GG will play it again. A very strong setup there by Clem, getting worker kills early on, but more importantly, he was able to kill the 4th expansion. Minerals just down the drain, did slow down the production, did slow down the economy of Rogue, and likewise, able to just wedge himself in between the bases. Knocking down those rocks was brutal. It meant that Rogue could not surround. Ideally, you want to come in from multiple angles, collapse on the army, get a surround or get a flank, but that was not the case. You know, Rogue, he just couldn't quite engage, and Clem snowballs into a win. GG. GG will play it as Clem, who will take the lead in the series, and now we are getting ready for game number 2. We'll see how this story ends. We'll see if Rogue can bounce back or if Clem will overwhelm. Now, I do favor a player like Rogue on some of these larger maps. We've spoken about this before, but Terran players are typically favored on smaller maps like Persephone, Whispers of Gold, El Dorado. The reasoning for this is because the rush distance by ground is shorter, so these stim timings, these early pushes, they hit that much harder. They hit so hard. Or on larger maps, they're delayed. They're delayed, and the Zerg player has more time to build up a defense, to get injects, to get their production going, and to survive these attacks. Game 2, we have a map. Ooh, it is going to be El Dorado. Okay. El Dorado, another one of these smaller maps. Now, what I will say is that the attack paths are a lot more limited on this map. So there's a bit of a give and take. It is a smaller map, does have a shorter rush distance, that is true, but at the same time, because of the terrain, because of the layout of El Dorado, there aren't that many kind of attack paths, and it's a little bit easier to scout and a little bit easier to engage. We'll see how Rogue handles this. We'll see if he can survive the first push. As spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of El Dorado, we have the red Terran player. The red Terran himself representing Team Liquid, it is Clem. Leading the series 1-0, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Zerg player from South Korea representing Team Falcons. Down in the series, we'll see if he can bounce back and force the ace match. It is Rogue. Here we go. Now, the last time we were on this map, we did see Bunny go for the goal base as a third and turn this into an 8 racks. I can see Clem doing that as well. Doesn't need to, but I can definitely see that being on the table. If you were casting Björn, I would assume that Björn would also take the gold, but from the other side. He's very fond of just expanding on location and taking the gold base alongside the gas as well. So we'll see how Clem will approach this. Likewise, we'll see which base Rogue takes. Does he mine through the patches and expand towards his opponent, or does he expand away, giving himself as much breathing room between himself and the Terran? No, good. Don't forget to stretch. Don't forget to stretch. So I'm still waking up. I woke up like 15 minutes before the cast. No, not gonna lie. Of course, this is our second broadcast of the day. We were live earlier today with the StarCraft Evolution League number 9 with SEL. I was just working on VODs. Then I went to bed. I got like 3 hours of sleep, around 3 hours, and we do it all again. We rinse, we repeat. Of course, tomorrow we're going to be live tomorrow morning with the Biggest Monday. Biggest Monday is tomorrow morning, and tomorrow evening should be the Enki show matches. Finally, we can get around to the Enki Pro Series and to the Enki Epic Series as well. Looking forward to it. Tomorrow we're going to be casting Clem versus Dark in a best of 9 and Beyond versus Hero in a best of 9 as well. So 2 best of 9s back to back. It's going to be crazy. That'll be tomorrow. But now though, Clem, he does check, he does confirm. Rogue is forced to expand elsewhere, taking the northern base. Lings, they do get across the map. Oh my god, they pick up an SCV. Nice pick up. They delay the command center, so Rogue, he does disrupt the build here of Clem. And Clem, this time, 3cc. Remember, last game we had a 1-1-1 out of Clem. We had hyper aggression. Not this time, though. This time going for a faster third base into a more economic build. Oh, hello. As Clem is quite fond of this, and we do confirm second racks. So it's going to be a 3cc 2-1-1. If you remember, we actually saw this from Bunny. Bunny did go for this build, I believe, in game number 2 against Rogue. And we'll see how successful Clem is with this as well. For those that weren't here for the Bunny series, this is going to be a lower Hellion count. So the Hellion count is going to be a lot lower here. We're going to be cutting Hellions at around 4 at most. Then going for an add-on swap into mass marine production, into a stim timing with medevacs. It's going to be 16 marines, 2 medevacs, and a handful of Hellions. It's going to be a later timing here. This does mean that Rogue can spread creep more freely. It does mean that the Hellion count is going to be lower, of course, as here comes that add-on swap into mass marine production. But that stim timing can hit like a truck. It can just overwhelm and just snowball out of control. It can be crazy. Meanwhile, Rogue saw everything. As a reminder, Rogue, he did confirm everything in the main base. He knows exactly what's going on, and he responds with a Roach Warren. So really safe response here by Rogue. Roaches, they can be quite tanky. They can trade quite well against these bio move-outs and these stim timings. So we'll see if Rogue will have enough. As Clem tries to sneak by, but alas, the Queens are in position. Oh my, I spoke too soon! One Hellion breaks out. We have a 4 behind this. Very nice defense by Rogue. He shuts down the dive. He shuts down the Hellions. And remember, there weren't many Hellions to begin with. There was only going to be 4. Now down to 2. 2 Hellions remaining. Rogue is going lair first. I mean, I say lair first. After the Eva chamber setup. After the wall. Meanwhile, here come those medevacs. Stim is almost complete, and soon Clem is going to push. And the goal here would be to hunt down overlords, to hunt down queens, deny creep, maybe get some economic damage, and force a response out of Rogue. Rogue is built up to 4 roaches. That I don't think is going to be quite enough. Getting into 1-1 upgrades. Rogue still has a couple of seconds, and he's still droning. So this is a little bit greedy here out of Rogue. I mean, the queens, they do support the roaches quite well. So I think Rogue can still pull off a defense, but again, it's going to be a close one. As Clem breaks out, he does rush past the Overlord. Rogue getting in position. He's got his Spore here in the main base. He's got his queens as well. He's got now 6 roaches, soon to be 8. Yeah, 8 roaches for Rogue. Medevacs boost in. Spore does deflect. Then he'll still unload. He gets a roach. Gets 1, gets 2. It's not 2 roaches. Not a bad start. Okay pickoffs. But again, nothing major. As we mentioned, like, roaches are just really robust. They're ideal defensively. 2 Hellions, they poke into the mineral line. They get 3 drone kills. Nothing major. But they cause a distraction. Does poke back into the main. And he pulls up, yeah, and he goes for the gold. He goes to the gold on the top side of the map as well. So a little bit greedy here from Clem. The pressure, the onus is now going to be on Rogue to try to punish this. As the gold base is up and running, 2 more drones go down to the 1 Hellion. Very nice trades here by Clem. Despite how little he has, he's getting a lot done. With the Hellions, I mean. So Hellion is still alive. And catching an Overlord. Denying more tumors. Getting an Overseer as well. So very nice trades. Nothing major. Behind this Clem, now he has a boosted economy. He's using this to get into a 4th CC, but also building up his bio army. And here comes the first real push. Up until this point, it's only been Hellions and drop play, but now the main army is moving out. Now this is what we've been building up towards. Stim is done. 1-1 just finished up for Clem. A very strong 1-1 timing, hitting just before 8 minutes. Now Rogue has been amassing Roach Ravager. And one of the strengths of Roach Ravager, of course, is to be able to bow down those tanks and to try to punish the army being sieged a little bit late. But the tanks are pre-sieged. Clemmy stims in. Ooh, we'll lose that medevac to the piles. Not bad. Medevac goes down. And Clemmy backs off. Backs off, he pulls away. Doesn't like what he sees. Meanwhile, Rogue, he has successfully drawn up to 80. Oh my god. 80 drones for Rogue. Rogue, he's about to max out. Clem, he does need to trade with this army. Now, bearing in mind, the soup does lie. Yes, Rogue is max, that is true, but this is inflated supply with the roaches. As roaches are very supply inefficient. Does try to get this around. Yeah, the tanks are exposed and every single tank is going to go down. Massive pickoffs. Takes down the tanks. Viper comes in. Doesn't quite get a blinding cloud off. See, Clem, he doesn't want to back off. He doesn't want to retreat. Going for a triple drop. Setting up back at home. Clem, he is vulnerable. Remember, he lost all of his tanks. He has to rebuild. Oh, so he picks off a base. Not bad. I believe that was a kill. No, cancel. Was a cancel. Clem does push forward. At the same time, going for a drop on the top side. Clearing up creep. No major damage outside of the denied expansion. Oh. Powerbomb pops off. That's a full medevac goes down. So far, Rogue, he's holding. He's holding and he's taking. The hive is now done. We have we have lurker upgrades on the way. Getting into Hydra Lurker Viper. And Rogue is turtling up. And we spoke about this during the Bunny series as Rogue, he doesn't trade too well here, trying to push into the concave. And bleeds out a lot of roaches. Alright guys, Clem overextends. But we spoke about this in the Bunny series, where Rogue, he's a little bit weaker in the early to mid game, but the late game, maxed out Lurker Hive Tech army is where Rogue thrives. Like, that is where he can really get into his final form and really look impressive. And he's there, like, he's getting there. Clem has failed to break him. Clem taking his 4th base. We see Rogue trying to take another expansion. Shouldn't be able to. So far, Clem has done a great job of just denying the 5th base of Rogue. Time and time again, the 5th base is denied. And moving in. Does move in, catches a queen, takes in a gas geyser, nothing major. Major yet. We should soon be seeing Nidus Worms as Rogue is turtling. As you can see, Rogue, he has never attacked this game. Like, he's never pushed across the map with run-bys or with counterattacks or with any kind of committed army. He's building up more lurkers, and his final form here is Mass Nidus Worm. So Nidus Worm Lurker, and of course Mass Overseer as well. When it comes to this Lurker Nidus style, you could argue that Rogue has the best version of this in the world. Especially because it's a style that Raynor and Serral don't really embrace themselves. Not as heavily. Meanwhile, CC's going to be denied. Rogue, he does want to get rid of these Ravagers, as he's refining his army. Getting rid of the Roach Ravager, replacing with more Hydras and Lings and Lurkers. Just refining himself. As we're getting across the map. Planetaries in position, the Lings, they do nothing. Rogue, he's waiting for his 3-3 upgrades. So he's just waiting to max out, waiting to build up his lurker count. 3-3 upgrades. Adrenals on the way. There we go. Double Nidus into the main. And Clem, does he notice this? Does he spot this? Remember, he's maxed. Clem, he has no free supply. Uh-oh. And the Nidus Worms are about to finish. Clem, he doesn't respond. Clem is going all in. Does snipe the Lurkers. He's going for the kill. At the same time, Lurkers, they bust into the main. And at this point, base trade. At this point, it's going to be the base trade. Nice spread, nice snipes. Lurker after Lurker going down. At the same time, Rogue, he's on top of the production, catching out Ghosts. But can Rogue hold? Can he defend? He's got 7 Lurkers. 7 Lurkers go so far. Clem, he does race back home. He races back home. Once again, not the best trades. Oh god, oh god. Not the best trades. Rogue, he does punish some of the Ghosts. It's going to be one. That's going to be almost 2 Ghosts going down the retreat. Lurkers are still in the main. Clem having a hard time here. Lurker at the goal base as well. Reactions are falling. Nice snipes. Nice ones. They're finally going to be cleaned up. But again, Rogue, he was able to just buy time, force his army, force his opponent back home, build up his own economy, and remax. Remax, rebuild with all those Lurkers. And as long as Raynor can't move out, then Rogue is going to be looking solid. As he's setting up with his Nidus Worms once again. Building up more Lurkers. A lot of Lurkers. There we go, double Nidus pack into the main. This time, Clem, he's somewhat in position. The Changelings, they do disrupt some of the production. But this might be a good thing for Clem, because it means that Clem has more in the main than he otherwise would. Nice one to finish. No commitment though. A couple of Lings. Okay, never mind. Jesus. Lings, they get on top of the tanks. He does commit to the siege. He does commit to the unload. There They're going for the main, takes down all the tanks. At the same time, Lurkers, they do threaten the bases towards the top side. Lurkers here towards the gold as well. And Clem is being torn apart. Can he keep up? Defends the main. Meanwhile, 9 SCV kills. Mining is denied. The planetary! No repair! Yeah, no repair in time. Massive pickoff. Planetary goes down. Clem down to 3 bases. Now retaking his 4th. This time as an orbital, not a planetary. Meanwhile, the doors open. Lings, they keep flooding in. Going for SCVs, going for the mineral line. Workers are going to be cleaned up. Nothing major out of Rogue, but he does get 8 SCVs. 8 SCVs, Nidus finishes. There's nothing in the Nidus. No lunkers, not this time. Rogue is still just massing up his army. Back into lurker production. Now, Clem does hold. Clem, he has taken a lot of losses, that is true. His production is a little bit messy as a result. Likewise, his economy is not what he wants it to be. 57 workers. That's not a lot. Not a lot of workers here for Clem. Meanwhile, Rogue moves in. Clem out of position. Oh good, Smash just going off here on the main army. As Rogue pulls away, he's also pushing towards the south side. Taking more bases, more expansions. So I punish this base here from Clem. Make sure that Clem never expands. Get to live, get the tank. Clem, he is slowly establishing that base. We'll see if we can get it up and running. This is his 6th base. Clem now has got a robust army. Hide us into the main base. Clem does still have some production. I'm hoping. There we go. Does load up. Lifts into the main. And this time he will more easily clean this up here. Takes down the lurkers, the forward expansion, yeah, it's going to go down. This is a bold base from Rogue, and he will not hold on to it. We'll lose the center gold. No bathing speed? Oh god. Heavily delayed bathing speed, I don't think that's intentional. So it looks like that was forgotten. Then once again moving in, clearing up all the creep. Another Nidus into the natural. And does he notice, actually? It looks like he does. He does notice. He's racing back home with everything he has. Only Lings, they're going to be dealt with. At the same time, Rogue looking for an opening. Looking for a way in. And this time, I mean, Clem has been keeping up. He's been keeping up with all the Nidus Worms. Keeping up with most of the rotations. Rogue is coming towards the top side. Once again, punishing this mineral line. But Clem, he has a kill into the bank. This time he has a bank. He can withstand this. Massive snipes going off. The lurkers are exposed. Oh my god! The lurkers! Yeah, they're exposed. They're on their own. Massive pickoffs. This time Clem was in position. He was ready with the ghosts. Oof. And not a single lurker escapes yet. So far, 43 lurker kills. Crazy. 43 lunkers. It's tanks in the main. The Nidus Worms, again, they're just over time. They're not as effective. More lurkers going down. 45 lurker kills. Ay, ay, ay. This Nidus finishes, but for the most part, Clem is ready. Takes down the Lings, takes down the Niduses. Rogue, he's just prowling everything across the map, trying to see what sticks, trying to find some damage. He gets a couple of tanks. couple of tanks, and he is down to 12 lurkers. Still a decent lurker count. Nothing major. Still enough for these ghosts to deal with. True. Again, lurkers are good, but they do need either Ling Bane or Hydras in front of them to help protect. Helps out with the lunkers. Speaking of lunkers, they get across the map. Ghosts are ready for them. Yeah, once again. Like Rogue, he's so heavily reliant on these counterattacks to be wherever the lurkers, sorry, wherever the ghosts aren't. Because once the ghosts are in position, I mean, the lurkers, they just melt. They do 0 damage. Oh, they get 5 SCVs. Another nice into the main. We have the Mass Overseer here out of Rogue. Again, this is his go-to style in late game ZVT. We've seen plenty of this. And we did mention that earlier last year, this did catch Clem off guard, but since then, Clem, he's had time to reflect, to ruminate, and to adjust to the build, adjust to the style. The Raiders moving in, catching up more of these lunkers. Oh, God. And Clem has just been so efficient. We're trying to go for the kill. Commits with his banelings, takes down a CC, takes down 3 tanks. That was everything. That was all of his Ling Bane. And here comes a counterattack. And what is it to defend? How many lurkers? 8. 8 lurkers in all quite a position. Nidus goes down. Hurry, that wasn't the only Nidus for him. Yeah, there were more. Nidus's Banelings, they roll in. Nice splits here out of Clem. He avoids the splash damage. It just keeps going. Just keeps on pushing. Across the map, 18 SCV kills. Clem. He will lose so many workers. He's down to 28 SCVs, but Clem still has a massive army. Clem's all in. At this point, Clem is all in. Everything's on fire across the map. Lurkers are not at home to defend. The go base is gonna fall. Rogue, he races back home. Does race back. He can get on top of the ramp, and is that going to be enough to hold on? Actually, where are the lunkers? As lurkers, they should be waddling back. Without them, this is going to be a more difficult hold. Does force back the buy, does force the pickup. Clem pulls away. And as it unsettles, where exactly are we? So Clem, he's broke. Clem, he's out of a bank. He's got 26 workers here. He doesn't really have much money left. Meanwhile, Rogue is in a similar position, but does have a bit of a larger bank. He also has some more lurkers as well. It's still a very shaky game set. So very shaky, very scrappy. This can still go either way. Ooh, only 1 lurker for Rogue. That is the biggest concern. No lurkers. Without lurkers, I'll be honest, I don't think Rogue can survive this. It's going to be close. He's relying on a mass Ling Bane surround instead. Now, for those that are curious, for those who haven't seen this, the Mass Overseer, the goal here is to obscure. And to deny any kind of clicks on whatever's underneath. Typically, Hydras and lurkers. As of course, they have to be manually targeted. And the Overseers, they're there to protect. As once again, the lone lunker. Oh my god. Lone lunker, he was trying. That was the final lurker, so 0 lurkers left. It's just pure Ling Bane Hydra out of Rogue. Which won't be amazing at breaking these entrenched positions, but as you can see, Clem only has a half or a portion of his army down here. He has all the ghosts towards the top side. This can still work out here for Rogue. And there we go, he commits. He's going for the planetary. Commits in. Planetary's going to go down, and he does surround the tanks as well. Nice snipe. Takes down the expansion. Rogue pulling away. This is allowing Clem to recover economically though, but he doesn't have an expansion, he doesn't have any more bases. So inefficient mining here out of Clem. And Rogue once again collapsing in with pure Ling. We're done with the Lunkers, we're done with all of that. But it actually gets us around. Gets us around, collapses on the army, brings down the tanks, brings down the Liberators. And does Clem have enough to keep going? A lot of his supply are now in medevacs, not in army. He claims another expansion. He's still mining. The supply is still lacking, but he's kind of there. Lings, they go for a run by. They bust in. Clem pulls away in time. Snipes here. They do connect with the queens. Overlords are trying to hide. They try to obscure the main army's vision, I mean. And Rogue, oh my god, does force the pick up. That's still going to be 24 drone kills. Clem still trades well. Clem still has that economic lead now. Well, now I should say. Does have the economic advantages. Takes down all the Hydras. Hydras, they cannot fight this head on. Yeah, the Marines overwhelm, and that may just be it. Every Hydra falls. Hydras, they cannot fight Marines head on. GG gets called, and Clem will take the game and the series 2-0. GG. GG, well played, Clem. He will claim the series again. A very, very intense back and forth. Honestly, Rogue had some really nice moments. He was popping off with the Night Swarms. He was getting into the main, hitting the 4th, hitting the 5th, hitting the 6th base. Like, lurkers were all over the place. But the problem was that he was unsuccessfully saving his own bases. Like, as he was killing workers and denying mineral lines, Rogue was also taking a lot of losses as well. And towards the end, we saw that Rogue was broke. He was broke. He could not afford these losses. He could not afford these trades. And in the end, GG. GG, well played. Clem, he does claim the series, and now we have to figure out what the hell's going on. Where are we headed?